What's good, people? Right now, we're in the Genius HQ. I feel like we're almost coming to the point where we're going to do a little studio tour, showing off every section of the space. A few finishing touches that need to be done, and then we should be there. You know what I'm saying? It's a very busy month. We've got Trapstar Adrock collab dropping, finally. We're going to be doing an event for that, DLs to follow. And the jacket of the year will be releasing for the first time. That is the Blue Biker jacket. That is so long awaited. Yeah, regular shits in the studio. Doing what we do. And I just wanted to talk about, for a sec, that, well, people in recent time have also been seeing that, like, I train a lot and I kind of post up on some of my socials on the stories and stuff like that. And I always get like funny questions of people asking like, what are you training for? And bro knows something that we don't know. And training for war and all that type of stuff. And I just get like a lot of questions just about like what my training routine is and what I eat and stuff like that. And also just like the change, like why the change and why I do it. And I just thought maybe I'd like talk about it because it might give some insights to somebody or, you know, inspire somebody, whatever else. But it's like, I need people to realize that why I do it isn't even nearly or even primarily like for the aesthetic or like to get big or anything like that. And actually, I'm actually trying to train and stay as slim as I possibly can for obvious reasons. You know, I've already had to mourn a lot of clothes I've had to give away, some JPG tops, some Capital tops. So, you know, we are not trying to get hench. That's not what we're doing this for. Like, just the body benefits are probably kind of just like a bonus. But really why I do it is just like for my mental, and just for like my soul almost, like without sounding corny. It's just mainly for discipline and continuously like upping my stress tolerance and just upping my pain tolerance and just strength, probably more mental strength even more than physical strength, to be honest. You know, what people don't realize is like there's a big difference between fashion and the fashion business, you know? And the fashion business is very, very brutal. Like, it's like super, super brutal. Like, it is one of the most demanding things, you know, probably out there, within context, obviously. But people don't realize, like, how demanding it is. Just being an entrepreneur in general, like being a business owner in general. You know, take away all the others, like even what it is specifically or the niches. But just being a business owner or being an entrepreneur in general, it's so cutthroat and it's like, it ain't no joke. So that's really what it's about, you know, because people kind of like just see parts of my lifestyle and stuff like that, and I realize that, you know, I own some businesses that are doing the right for themselves and just like what it truly takes. And in the last couple of years, I've like built up Genius Bar in particular, probably like the last 4-ish years or so. And, you know, we started in COVID, and I remember like when I made the transition from what I was doing before, I was very local. People didn't even really know where I was from. And then I made a big jump to go and build up my whole own factory, going from working with just one tailor who's my uncle to building a factory in another city that I didn't even live in, building a factory, staff, all of this. It was a massive jump, you know. And I remember like when I went through that transition, how challenging it was. And I've always been up for a challenge. I've always been the one like to go for the harder way. And I've always just been very aware of who I am and who I want to be in this world and how I want to live my life, you know. And yeah, like, it's like, bro, these cars be fogging up and shit. But it's like, yeah, it's like, that shit was like very demanding. And even then, with all of those demands, I remember around in 2021, like it was almost over. Like everything was almost ruined. You know, I had a business partner for the first time ever in my life. I've spoken about it briefly, like vaguely before. You know, that almost ruined my whole business, my life basically, because my life and my business are pretty much, you know, one thing. And, you know, that shit almost ruined my life. I'm talking about PayPal taking 20K off of me that I really needed at the time and never getting it back. Owing some of my suppliers or some of the people that are in my business as a network, you know, $5 grand, $6 grand. And there was a few of those type of situations. It was like one of them real life and death type of situations where I always say, the few people I've told about it, I'm like, yo, if I wasn't me, like, that would have been the thing that would have just completely taken me out. And you hear about it all the time, like, someone's got a business or someone's got some sort of project and they're doing it and all of a sudden they just disappear, you never hear them, or the business just, you know, fails. It happens all the time, probably way more than people being successful over a long period of time. So that was like the biggest shock to my system ever. That whole experience, like, that shit really like broke me down to a level where, you know, you really look at yourself naked. You really look at yourself naked, you know. All the facades that are stripped away, like life, like the reality of life is just staring you down, like standing above you. You're just frail, you're weak, and you just don't even really know what to do. There isn't much that you can do. And it's one of them ones that there's those rare moments that you can truly look at yourself in truth. As I said, with all the delusions and all the little masks and stuff that we put on ourselves, like, taken away. And looking back on it, it was one of the most important times in my life ever. Like, that shit really traumatized me, but it transformed me. And I was, like I said, I was left really in a back against the wall situation, and what it revealed in myself, like the person that I had to become to overcome that moment, was a person that I'd never been before. You know what I'm saying? I really needed it, and then after when, like, I realized that it was exactly what I needed. That was exactly what I needed. Like, you know, we all present ourselves to the world in like the strongest, best versions of ourselves, and we've got it all figured out, and we're this, and we're confident, and we're secure in self, and all these type of things. But those type of situations where everything just is fucked, it's like you really are forced to look at yourself like in a mirror, like a mirror almost, and really see like all the weaknesses that exist inside you, all the things that you know you could have done better for the situation not to have been, all the places that you got comfortable, all the places where you didn't want to confront what was the elephant in the room, or what was the big problem that you knew you should have dealt with at that time, all the things that you let get worse over time, all the ways that you let yourself down. You know, it was one of those type of situations. No one to blame. No one to blame, because it was one of those situations that if you blame, you can blame everyone else, as we all tend to do, but that will mean that, you know, the ship sinks, it's done, game is over. The game is literally over. So it was one of those ones that really revealed my own weaknesses to myself, like with no hiding. Now there was no hiding, you know what I mean? And like I said, it broke me down, and then I had to rebuild myself, and then it's like you rebuild yourself stronger. Now those things that you've been avoiding, you've been faced to force them, and it's like, yo, you come out the other end stronger. And I came out the other side a fucking beast. I came out the other side of that shit basically Dage 2.0. And what followed that madness in my life was me turning up more than I ever have in my life. And life's changed. Life's completely changed. You know, we're doing great things. I'm in a studio that I could never even have dreamt of being in before when I was a kid growing up in Milton Keynes. I've got a team, I've got people that, I've got 2 studios, like, you know, I've got people that depend, I've got full-time staff that depend on me. I'm working with Harvey Nichols, a shop that I used to go to as a kid, window shopping, because I couldn't afford to go, you know? So that thing that we're looking for, or those things that we're looking for, we won't get until we become the person that we need to be in order to achieve those things or have those things. And you don't become that person. Becoming that person is hidden on the other side of that scary mountain or that scary monsters that you're scared to face. Like, it's so cliche. I always say that cliches are cliches because they're true. But that's what it really was, bro. And then it's like, okay, cool. So I'm kind of in a new reality now. I've completely transformed and really turned this business into a madness. Done great things, taking the business to Dubai, Paris, every fashion week, taking it to, you know, now doing business in Portugal, America, all these different things, you know. I mean, this is my reality now. All of a sudden I'm doing things that I could have dreamt, or couldn't only have dreamt of. Traveling the world, going to Tokyo twice in 6 months. Like, you know, life's good. And then it's like, I always say that we all know our own level. And it's like, a lot of these things are like things that when I was younger I dreamt of. And it's like, but is that it? Like, what we can just always do, what we just do is like we get comfortable. We get comfortable and then we just stop. We stop doing those same things, or we just keep increasing. And like when you stop or when you're standing still, you're literally dying. So it's like, okay, I'm doing great things. I had my studio before this was much smaller. It was in Covent Garden. I moved into this new studio in December. Our studio that I was in for just over 2 years was much smaller. I had a smaller team, and the business was an absolute unicorn. Like the input versus output is like astronomical. Like when I'm talking to my peers, like my friends in the industry, and I was telling them like our margins and what we're doing, they were like, this is unheard of, you know what I mean? Really, truly a blessing. Like my unorthodox ways really paid off, and I was able to create something truly, as I said, like a unicorn in business, you know? And, you know, God bless, it was able to make a lot of money in a short period of time, and keep a lot of money as well. But it's like, does that then become is that the end? Like, is that just the end? Like, because you can do something like that you couldn't do before, do you now stop? Do you now stop taking risks? Do you now stop living like life is, like, you know, it's life and death, and keep striving to keep going into the unknown and coming back with the gold? And then I had to just let go of all of that. I had to let go of all of that because that experience that got me there made me realize that life is pain, you know? And you put in the pain and you come back with the fucking answer. You come back with the truth, you come back with the gold, you come back with whatever it is that you desire. It's on the other side of the pain. And then I realized that in order to avoid external situations that break you down, I realized I had to put myself through pain every single day so that I could keep growing. Because I knew at that point what to other people was like goals, or what would be their dream, or what would be, you know, top of whatever it is. To me, it was just the beginning. I know what I want to do in this world. I know where I want to play. I want to be at the top. I want to run this thing at the top. There's so many things I need to do, but I'm not stupid. I'm not delusional. I know what it takes, what version of me it takes. So I knew what's in my heart and in my soul and what I want to do, and that's Adwoa. At the tip of the big iceberg, but you know, it's not enough. I have my brand, my lifelong mission that I want to put into this world, birth into this world, and grow into a fucking global superpower. I want everybody to know about it. I wear Louis Vuitton, I wear Celine, I want our own version. Celine is somebody's name. We don't even realize a lot of these brands are people's name. I want Adwoa to be right next to it. Adwoa is my mother's name. That's who put me into this world. That's who made me me. So it's like, it was like, now you've got this comfort, you've built this great thing up, people are ranting about you, raving about you, doing all this great stuff, and you can just loaf in that, just enjoy that. And I was like, nah, fuck that. This is just the beginning, that's just the vehicle. Now the real graft, the real grind is about to only start now. All money I could have been using to, like, you know, enjoy my life and do whatever, I'm putting it straight back in. We built Adwoa up. Made in London. Like, as harsh as it gets. No joke. Actually, there's no pretending. Like your shit in London, like leather goods primarily, you know, nothing's a given. Everything's a risk. So yeah, decided to put it on the line and just go again. And now it's just go again. You know, you just start at the bottom of the ladder again, and you gotta build yourself up. You gotta put yourself into the unknown again. You gotta put yourself into that scary place where you don't know if it's gonna work out. Where you doubting yourself and you're asking yourself these questions: if it's gonna work, if it's this, if you made the right decision. That's what I feel like everyone's avoiding all the time. Everyone's just like living life on easy mode, on soft mode, avoiding these things, and then like you just like disintegrate into like this soft, weak being that's just always looking for the shortcut, always just looking for the easy route, and just doesn't do nothing cool in life. Doesn't do nothing cool. Just gets that little job, gets that little house, and just these little societal things that people act like mean something, just to be like, oh, okay, cool, I'm doing something, but they're just dead inside. Don't remember the last time they did something scary. Don't remember the last time that they took a risk. Don't remember the last time they put in pain for something. So that ain't me. And I just know that the type of stuff that I want to be, how I see myself as a little kid, from as long as I can remember, I've always seen myself bigger than life, on top of shit. Whatever it is I wanted to, I never saw myself doing the regular shit. In school, they mistook it as arrogance and that, but I just knew, I just had the inner knowing of what I've been put here to do. And as I said, I'm not delusional and do like a lot of people out here that want things and just think that wanting gets, you know. So that's what this is about for real. It's just like a constant evolution, just constantly getting stronger. So you ain't gonna have to have no fear. That's what a day about angst is truly about. It's about preparing ourselves today so that we don't fear tomorrow. And that's what this shit is about for real. I remember, it's a lot of things. You just got to expel the weakness in you. Life is like a video game. Like when you're in a video game, whatever game it is, and then you have like the thing that bar that causes you to level up, that is XP, that XP, it stands for experience because it's the same shit. You gotta do stuff to get that bar up.